Hello, welcome to At the Movies Series 3. I actually forgotten what Series 2 even was. Well, I know what they are, but I haven't ordered them or saved them yet. But I think there's about 5 or 6 of them, so we'll just call that another series. And this is a new series where we'll be here and maybe like a Skype review or something like that. Because we're kind of...
The Hobbit.
Yeah, because we're not really... I'm here now, but I won't be here, you know, tomorrow. Or the next day, or the day after that, or the week after that, or, you know. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about Skyfall. We went to see that last week, actually, about a week ago. I've been looking forward to it for a long time. I was watching all the James Bond films in the lead up to it. I didn't finish all of them though. Honestly, I wasn't that bothered about it until I started watching all the older films and I got into it. But yeah, what about you? Were you even...
I've only seen one James Bond movie.
Oh yeah,
Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Hey.
I remember you said, wow, if all the James Bond films are like this, I can't believe I haven't watched them sooner. And I was like, yeah, that's probably the best one.
Casino Royale is the best one.
I'd say so. Well,
out of all of them?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. Well, I guess it's debatable whether people like, you know, it depends who people like as James Bond, you know, because there's been like 6 of them. People love Sean Connery, then they'll go for something like Goldfinger or From Russia with Love. Anyway.
I can't wait to see those.
Yeah. So Skyfall, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. We were almost going to go see Twilight because of stuff, like because when you finish work and you know when it was on and how long it would take us to get back home and stuff, if we could get back home. So anyway, eventually went to see Skyfall. And yeah, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. And yeah, what do you think?
That's it?
No, I'll continue, but you know, I've already been waffling on for a couple of minutes.
Well, the thing is, spoiler. No,
yeah,
I'm not going to say. Well,
no, we'll spoil things in this because
we will.
It's been out for well over a month now, so.
So it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I already knew she was going to die.
Yeah, I knew that. I knew the ending. Or I knew the character that died.
Yeah, so I was sat there and I was like, "Oh, this is it. No, okay. This is the next. This is where it happens." And I was like, "No. There you go. Yeah. Or maybe that will be." I was just sat there. I was like, "Oh, this is it. This is where she goes." So that kind of ruined the whole thing for me, because normally you'd be like, "What?" when someone that important dies.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I was kind of like, "What? Really?"
Yeah, the beginning is this big sequence in Istanbul, I think, in Turkey, and yeah, it ends with James Bond getting shot, and then he falls into the water, and then glang, 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 glang. Well, not really, but.
Glang?
It's an Alan Partridge reference, I'm sure some people got it. But yeah, the Skyfall theme kicks in there. I thought it was really cool the way it kind of led into the graphical classic Bond opening sequence.
I love the intros. And this one was like, I was like, loving this. Watching all the colours and stuff, and I was like,
yeah, it was done really well. It's probably the best opening sequence in terms of how it looked and stuff. And one of the best songs as well.
I want to watch just that one again. I can probably find it on YouTube though.
Well,
I don't know.
Not yet.
Maybe not, but it's like, oh yeah, because it would spoil something, wouldn't it? But it was really enjoyable to watch. And I was thinking, I wonder how many people in the cinema are like really bored right now while I'm like, oh, so awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of it being a good James Bond movie, I wouldn't know because I've only seen one. I haven't even seen the Pierce Brosnan ones. I think I've seen like part of Die Another Day or something,
yeah,
or one of those killing,
yeah.
something like that. And so I don't really have a view on what a James Bond movie should be. But I've heard that it's quite different from the other ones. For example, women not being put into a man-chauvinistic, prickish view.
Chauvinistic.
Yes. Man-chauvinistic. Can we say
no,
that?
Just chauvinistic.
Oh, in Norwegian we can say man-chauvinistic. Okay. Anyways, yeah, because apparently in the old ones, women are kind of trash.
Not really. It was still, it still retained that Skyfall,
Really?
which I thought was cool because Skyfall was just like, in a way, unlike any other James Bond film, but it still had the things that made it a James Bond film. You know, like when he is presumed missing, presumed dead, and then we catch up with him and he's grown a bit of a stubble and stuff, and he's drinking and he looks depressed, and then he's just with this random woman having sex with her. That's, you know, that's kind of the James Bond thing to do. Which I was surprised actually. I didn't think that they'd have that in all.
And the other woman.
Yeah, there's another woman as well who he just
died.
Yeah, he just slept with, and then she
gets a good whiskey.
Yeah.
It's like, fuck that. I don't even care. I just want to catch the bad guy.
Yeah.
Fuck the women. Well, still, you know, they didn't say anything, like, you know, like in the old ones, they kind of say kind of like shitty comments about women. You said so.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it's not to the extent, I guess.
Which would be hard to be able to do nowadays anyways. It's 2012. It's pretty difficult to put, you know...
Objectify women.
Yeah, in movies nowadays. And get away with it.
Oh, I don't know. Sometimes. Not that I'm condoning it, but you know, they get away with it.
I know, but I mean, they probably wanted to get that out of the system of James Bond. Anyways, I didn't know that Voldemort was in it until the very end.
Ralph Fiennes.
Who?
Ralph Fiennes.
Him.
Yeah.
So all the way at the end, I'm like, is that Voldemort? And Luke is like,
yeah.
And I'm like, cool. So I liked the whole movie even more, and that was like the last 30 minutes or something.
Mm. So the main villain of the film, played by Javier Bardem, Spanish actor. I think he's Spanish. I think he must be. You know,
looked so weird with the blonde wig and everything. It looked so fake.
They didn't look fake.
It looked horribly fake.
Worked for me. Obviously it was a wig, but it worked for me. I never once stopped and went, that looks like a wig.
But you did with Taylor Lautner in Twilight?
Yeah, because
that looked a lot more real, Luke.
Looks like shit.
Look, at least it's his own hair colour. Mm. You don't pop a fucking blonde wig on a fucking Spanish man.
It worked for me.
And
it
blonde
worked
eyebrows.
It worked.
I swear I could see the glue.
It worked with the character. It was creepy, and it kind of fit his character also. When you find out something about him later on, which I thought was really creepy and kind of cool.
The wig and eyebrows and Stevie and Eastbound Down look better.
It's just ridiculous. Anyway, he played the character very well. It wasn't in it that much. I mean, he didn't come into the film until like well over an hour, I think. And it's quite a long film as well. I think it's the second longest James Bond film ever. And
really?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't find it that long. I mean, it was long, but I didn't find it too long when I was sat there watching it.
It is quite slow in places as well, but yeah, I never felt bored or anything. The action was good and was kind of, you know, it's the same kind of James Bond thing where you got like a big action sequence to begin, and the story gets set up, and then you get like another big action sequence, and then smaller sequences, and then finally a bigger one at the end, and kind of thing. So it kind of followed that format, but it just still felt quite different to me. Probably because M, played by Judi Dench, she was a main part of the story, which has never really been done before.
It's probably because she died.
Yeah, and she dies at the end. Again, spoilers.
Yeah, you said that we were going to spoil stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not saying, ooh, but
who else was going to die? I said she, and she is the target, so who else? Moneypenny?
Yeah, that was all.
Who named someone Moneypenny?
Let's just spoil that ending as well. There's a woman, I forget her name, well, I was going to say forget her name, her name's Moneypenny, you don't really hear her name in the film. Played by Naomi, I think is her name, Harris. She was in, she's that girl from 28 Days Later, the black woman. You love that film?
28 Days Later?
Yeah.
Is it 20 Days Later?
It's 28 Days Later.
Huh.
Anyway, she's in it, and she's in it in the beginning, throughout the film as well. And at the end we find out her name's Moneypenny, and it kind of sets up the whole thing where the new M is Ralph Fiennes, and that was really cool because it was like the old M office as well, which obviously Connie wouldn't have, you know, appreciate as much as I did on like a second level because she hadn't seen the older films, but I think it was still cool.
Well, I'll know it when I see the older films, movies.
Yeah.
Which I will. I'll probably download everything.
This is a bit of a weird review, really. It's not really following much structure, but yeah. Anyway, it was just a really good film. Shot well, music was great, opening title was great. Daniel Craig was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was cool seeing like a more of a struggle for James Bond than usual. That you can tell that he's, you know, he went through a bit of a rough patch. He was a bit depressed and stuff. Like when he wasn't being James Bond, he was kind of bored, and you know, and then when he came back, then he was struggling because he had like an injury and stuff.
He's got really weird cheekbones. Did you see? Looks like a skeleton.
He's quite a thin guy,
yeah. But they're like popping out, like proper, like.
And then we get a new Q as well for the first time since the Brosnan films, I think. Yeah, must be. And it's like a young Q who's kind of like computer efficient and all that, and it's kind of for the new generation, and it worked. I thought it was cool. He was a cool character.
Are we not allowed to say who he is?
I don't know who the actor's name is. Not sure.
The new Q, isn't that Voldemort?
No, that's the new M. Q. Remember the kid?
I thought
the kid
M was like in Men in Black, where it's like, you know, the first character in a name or something.
Kind of. Well,
but
no.
They called them Mom. They called her Mom, not Ma'am.
Yeah.
Mom.
Yeah.
As in Mummy. Right, Mom.
Not as in mother, no. Mom, M-A-A-M, like you know, like a.
Ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am. It's just like it's a British thing.
Mom.
Okay.
It sounds like Stewie, Mom.
Okay,
Mom.
okay. It's just for you only. Just imagine she's their mother. Anyway, Q, the guy with the glasses who gave him the, well, not even a gadget but a gun, and they kind of poked fun at the fact that there was like over the top gadgets in the older films and how they're moving away from that and stuff.
What does that stand for then?
I don't know. Well, obviously the
what's M and what's Q?
Q is quartermaster. That's short for quartermaster.
Oh, so M is master then?
No, I don't think M is master. Well, Ralph Fiennes' character is Mallory, so that works. M. I really don't know why she's called M, but it's M is the you know, James Bond's boss.
Everybody's boss, right?
Yeah, everyone in the Ministry of Defence.
Okay.
We get to see the Aston Martin, the classic Bond Aston Martin, which was awesome. And they go to Scotland for the last act of the film.
Skyfall.
And we find out that Skyfall is the home that James Bond grew up in when he was a kid. And I thought that was really cool because it was like it's like a personal thing from James Bond's past that we don't usually again see in films. It's usually just, you know, action, action, girl, action, kill the bad guy, girl, and you know, there's not really any story about James Bond as a person or a character beyond just being James Bond. So I really like that. And there was kind of this again, something we haven't really seen before, where it was him, M, and his old the guy who owns the house, or not owns the house, you know, what would you call him? The old Scottish guy, like the gamekeeper, I think he called him. He kind of like looks after the grounds and stuff.
Hagrid.
Not Hagrid, no. It'd be cool if it was Hagrid. Well, not really, it'd be funny. Played by, what's his name? Albert Finney, I think.
Finnegan.
Not Finnegan, just Finney.
I'm joking.
Yeah. And they have this kind of thing where they kind of hold up in the house and they got weapons. It's like Home Alone a bit, you said. Remember when we were watching it? Like they're setting up with like traps and stuff and getting all their weapons ready for when Javier Bardem's character Silva was going to come and, you know, kill them basically, or kill M. The whole story was he was after M because he was once an agent like James Bond, and she kind of just, you know, let him die basically, but he survived. And so he's got a vendetta against her. So he comes to kill her, and then there's this big fight and blah blah blah. And it was done very well, and again, not really kind of the traditional, you know, big blow up James Bond finale type of film. So what would you rate it? Out of 10?
8.
8?
Yeah.
I'll give it a 9. I'll give it a 9. Maybe a 9.5. I'll stick with a 9 for now.
I'm thinking about an 8.5, but I'll stick with the 8 for now as well.
Actually, no.
I'll have to, once I watch all the other James Bond movies, it might go up.
Actually, I'm going to stick with a 9. It would be a 9.5 if it wasn't for the overuse of CGI, which is my main problem with the film. And it wasn't even a problem, just like it's a shame they used too much there. Like, there's this island that Silva owns, basically. And I think the story was he said to everyone on the island that there's like this, there's going to be like an explosion or something, or there's going to be gas or something. I've forgotten.
I can't remember.
He scared everyone off the island and kept it for his own. James Bond ends up going there, and it's like a derelict kind of just little city on an island. And there's this these big sweeping shots of it, and there was like buildings with the windows broken, and you could see like curtains flapping, and they were like really like blatantly CGI. And I thought, if they're gonna do that, at least do a model or something that looks more real. And a couple of shots just looks a bit too fake. And then there's a scene in a casino where there's these Komodo dragons, which are completely computer generated, and I just thought that wasn't that good. And again, as soon as he comes in, there's like a close-up shot of it, and it's like, I wonder if that's going to come in useful later on. I wonder if those dragons will get involved in the film, and they did, obviously. So without the CGI, I'd probably give it a 9.5, but overall, brilliant film. Really, really enjoyed it. Can't wait to see it again. This has been a weird review, but there you go. I guess that's what we do, just ramble. And
that's what we're supposed to do. That's what a review is.
I guess.
Say what we liked about it.
Not very technical review, but there you go. I really enjoyed going to see it as well. It was fun just going out and, you know, going to the cinema.
With Norwegian subtitles.
With Norwegian subtitles, yes. Which thankfully does not bother me at all. So yeah, Skyfall. Thanks for watching. Anything else to add? It was quite funny too. There's a lot of lines, like the James Bond one-liners, but they're actually quite funny as opposed to really bad. You know, like there's some bad ones in the older films, but these ones were kind of not great, but they were still, you know, kind of funny, if you know what I mean.
Like a waste of good whiskey. Yeah,
exactly. A lot of cool references as well, like that scene where they've got the whiskey and on the bottle it says 1962, which was the year the first James Bond film came out.
Didn't know.
And then Silver said, "Oh yeah, I was the best part of my career was between 1988 and 1995, which was like the longest gap between James Bond films, between Brosnan and Dalton." So there's lots of little references.
You read about those, didn't you?
No, the 62 I noticed. I read about the years.
Yeah.
Although I thought, that was a bit of a specific reference, I think.
Yeah.
And there's like the ejector seat button in the Aston Martin from, I think from Russia.
Yeah, I like that one.
Lots of cool little things. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you next time, whatever that may be.